As I've said before, we do not mistrust each other because we're armed. We're armed because we mistrust each other.
Overcoming that mistrust was the key achievement leading to an agreement banning medium-range missiles last December. The mistrust wasn't overcome by a sudden burst of altruism or optimism. It was the result of laboriously working out ways for each side to check the other's weapons, making sure the other side isn't cheating. Working out a similar verification process remains a key obstacle to an agreement to cut the world's largest threat. Strategic nuclear weapons. They're called strategic because they can reach halfway around the world and destroy a city or a military target. Soviets and Americans have thousands of such warheads and bombs. The two sides agreed long ago, in principle at least, to cut the number in half. The problem is which ones to keep and which ones to scrap. For example, sea-launched cruise missiles can strike targets in the United States or the Soviet Union. Yet many such missiles are armed with conventional explosives that could kill a ship, not the nuclear bomb capable of killing a city. U.S. experts say there is no way to check which is which without putting Soviets on American ships or vice versa, something few experts think likely. Soviet General Secretary Gorbachev says it is possible to check by scientific means from a distance, but American officials, like the new head of the Arms Control and Disarmament Agency, doubt it.
With regard to the sensor technique that the Soviets suggested a few months back, we've looked at it, and we don't see how it could work.
Other haggles continue over the Strategic Defense Initiative, what to do about mobile missiles and what to do about air-launched cruise missiles, though some reports say the Secretary of State Schultz took some ideas on solving the cruise missile problem with him on his last trip to Moscow. With all of these problems, is a deal possible in Moscow?
I think we're well on the road to achieving a useful, good, and balanced treaty. I don't see any particular deadlines for that, however.
Chemical weapons are being developed by a growing number of nations, and they've been used with hideous effect in the Iran-Iraq war. Both superpowers have chemical weapons, and U.S. officials say chemical talks are part of the arms control agenda, but they call it a road fraught with difficulty. American and Soviet officials are also working on non-nuclear, non-chemical, so-called conventional arms talks in Europe. Discussions between the two sides have been grinding on for a decade and a half, but there have been some recent signs of progress, at least progress toward finding a new way to organize such talks. Recent discussions have involved more nations and more territory than in the past. As usual, verification is one of the major problems. But the effort may be worth it. Mere conventional arms killed many of the millions slain in World War II, 1 million more in Afghanistan, another million in the Iran-Iraq bloodbath. Military experts say better sensors, computers, communications, and other technical advances make conventional weapons more effective and more deadly, and arms control more urgent. Encouraged by the successful treaty banning medium-range missiles and an apparently more open and more flexible Soviet leadership, some U.S. arms experts hoped for progress in conventional and other areas, but there appears to be a long and frustrating road ahead.
We've seen no discernible evidence of the Soviets changing the offensive nature of their force structure and deployment patterns.
Jim Randall, WorldNet News, Washington.